Namaskar, welcome to this webinar. This is Dada Rainjitananda, and our topic today is Tantra, the science of self-realization. First of all, my name, Dada Rainjitananda. Actually, Dada is just an informal way to say brother. And I'm an acharya, means I'm a teacher. The real meaning is actually one who teaches by one's own conduct. So the idea is that what matters is what we do, not just what we say. Like parents and kids. Kids will learn what the parents do, not always what the parents say. Also, I'm an avadhuta. I'm a dedicated monk. It means I don't have my own individual family, and I dedicate myself to the larger family, teaching or doing some kind of service. I've been teaching for about over 30 years. And what I teach is the Tantra as proposed by Sri Anandamurti, which is my teacher. There are nowadays different interpretations of Tantra, but I'm teaching his interpretation. And in regards to the US, I'm also a registered yoga teacher with the Yoga Alliance. That's it for now. A little bit about the webinar series itself. There will be 7 online classes. We'll take about an hour on these classes. 30 or 40 minutes will be a presentation, and followed by question and answers. Now, you can type your questions. You will see there in the computer, there will be a place where you can type questions. And you can do that during the presentation itself. You don't need to wait for the end. Sometimes I take a look at that during the presentation, and if I see in the right time when I'm talking about the subject, I may elaborate it more just to answer that question. And sometimes I will also ask questions to you, and you can reply to those questions. Either I make a poll where you just click, or sometimes I ask you to write something. For that, there is another window for a chat. You can write there. Or if you don't find that one, you can also write in the questions one. This is fine. The program that I'm going to cover, I'm going to see if I can cover the main aspects of Tantra. And that will be the initiation, the guru or the teacher, what is really Tantra, mantra, yantra, and tantric practices. Not exactly in this order, and sometimes the same subject, I will bring it back on a further webinar just to go in layers. I can give a certificate if you want, but I only give to those who attend at least 6 out of the 7 classes. And for that also I will give some assignments. So you can let me know if you want to get a certificate, so I send an assignment to you. Okay, I think that's it for the introduction. Let me see. I think we can go ahead and... All right. Also, if you feel some technical problem, like you cannot hear well, like this, you can also type it there on the questions window, and I try to keep track of that window. That's the main window I keep track. And yeah, that's it. Okay. So the path of Tantra, how to get started. When we are going to do something, there is always that initial moment. So this path of Tantra is actually the path of spirituality. When we hear this word spirituality, we think, what is this spirituality? It's like something very abstract. What I like to say is that there is the physical. We are well acquainted with the physical world. Through our senses, we can see, touch, and we have a constant relationship with this physical world. But then comes the mental world. We also have a constant relationship with this mental world. With our thoughts, we are always thinking. But this relationship we always have with the mental world is usually the more superficial part of our mental world. All right, so we have physical, we have mental. These two seem to be not difficult to understand. Now comes spiritual. What is spiritual? Some people may think about the religious world, things of religion as being spiritual, things that are elevating the mind, spiritual. I like to say that the physical world is a limited world. The mental world is maybe more expanded than the physical. And then comes the spiritual world, which is even more expanded than the mental world. So it is so expanded, it is the infinite. It has no limits. That's the spiritual world. Now, why does it matter to us, the spiritual world? It matters because of our own nature as a human being. As a human being, usually, be an American or an African or an Indian, every human being is searching for feeling good, some happiness, peace. And the thing is that this happiness, this peace that we want, is not only for a certain period of time. Let's say, I would say, oh, how much happiness you want? What about half an hour? Would that be enough? Or 3 days? Or 10 years of your life? Usually the answer I get is that we want always. We don't want it for a limited time or quantity. We want it infinite. So this infinite is when we enter the spiritual world. So really thinking, we want spirituality. Every human being wants spirituality. We may not know it or be conscious of it, but that's what we are really looking for. So this path of spirituality is the path towards the infinite. So there is always a beginning. We have to begin on this path. That beginning, we call it the initiation. Is when you are going to begin the movement on this path. Now that beginning has two phases, or there are two types of this initiation or this beginning. One I'm calling here the religious one, or the Vedic one, related to Eastern philosophy, the Veda, and here let's say the religion. That is the first one. How is that initiation? And then it comes a second phase, or a second one, which is the Tantric one. And here we are going to talk about Tantra. The first one, the religious one, or that Vedic one, we basically want to know what's the way. It comes a time in life, maybe we are leading just let's say a material life, a regular life in the society, having our job, our family, and so many activities. And then one day we start thinking deeper, and questions are coming to our mind. What is really life all about? In that deeper way of thinking, one comes to a point where there is a question, how to reach it? What is there? And that desire to know the way develops in our mind. So show me the way. And that can happen through, if somebody is in the religious field, through prayers. If somebody is in the Vedic field, certain mantras, like the most famous is the Gayatri mantra. Now suppose somebody is Christian. There is this prayer, Our Father. So our Father who is in heaven, holy is your name, your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our sins as we forgive those who sin against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. So now, actually, my prayer is, I'm requesting this greater entity, which I relate to it as Father, that Father, now show me the way. So lead me on the right path. Don't let me go on the wrong path. So that's the request here. So that is, development has come in that mind that it sees that not in the material world I will get what I'm looking for. So now show me something. And if we see the Gayatri mantra, which is in the Vedas, which is kind of an essence of the Vedas, there are different Vedic teachers that consider it like the highest mantra in the Vedas, and just by saying this mantra one will attain the goal. But here, see how this mantra goes in Sanskrit. Om Bhu Bhuva Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhyo Yo Na Prachodayat. O Lord of this resplendent light that pervades all, let not my mind, my intellect, deviate from truth. Show me the way. Lead me onto the correct path. I meditate on thy divine effulgence, so that my intellect is guided towards you. As you see, there are similarities here in that the individual is requesting that unknown, great entity. Lead me. I want to reach it. So lead me onto that path. So this first phase, one understands that spirituality or self-realization is the priority and is asking, lead me, lead me. But as you see, you are reaching to a certain point, and then it will come the second phase. Now, what is the second phase? That is the Tantric initiation. So now, what is that Tantric initiation? The desire is there. There is a desire that I want to find the way, how to do it. So in the Tantric initiation, one learns the process of attaining self-realization. Just keep in mind that I am going to realize myself. So it is something that I have to do it. It will not drop to me from the sky. It's not because I'm asking and asking, it will just come and I will get it. It is now to realize myself, I have to do something, because here I am going to realize myself, so I have to do something. Now, if I want to learn something, to learn a process, what do I need? Now I need a teacher. In everything we do in life, and we want to learn music, look for a great music teacher. You want to learn martial arts, look for a great martial artist. Anything we want to learn, we can learn from a teacher. You may argue that we can also learn from books. We can learn from books, but the book was written by somebody. So it's just an indirect way to learn from the teacher. We can learn by ourselves, by experimenting. We may, sure, but that will be a very long road. And keep in mind that our time is limited. Let's say that we live a certain number of years. Each year has a certain number of days, and in each day has a certain number of hours. And if we multiply that, we'll come with a number like, if we live 100 years, we'll have 876,000 hours. And those hours we can utilize to reach that self-realization. So a teacher is very important. And Tantra, the word itself comes from Sanskrit. The teacher is called Guru. That's also Sanskrit. We can say teacher in English. We can say Guru in Sanskrit. Usually we use the Sanskrit word because it defines better. The word Guru means there is darkness, and there is the one that dispels the darkness. So that is the Guru. So what is the darkness? I'm asking, show me the way. It means I'm not seeing the way. I want, show me the way. Show me the way. It means put some light put some light on the path so that I can see it. Because the path is there all the time. It's not that it appears at that moment. It's always there. It's just that I don't see it because the mind is covered by darkness. Now, as you remove the darkness, then you see. So that's the goal of Guru. One problem is that, particularly in the Western world, is that this word Guru is very much misunderstood. People don't really take it as it is. There are many things that get misunderstood, and why this word is not understood well, because there were many false gurus, people who would present themselves as a guru, but actually they would be crooks, taking advantage of others and having shallow knowledge and not really teaching the right thing. But we need to understand that we want to learn something, we need a teacher. And we take teachers for so many subjects. But there is one difference here. When we take a teacher that we want to learn something like music, okay, we want to learn music. So we take a music teacher. And what do? We surrender to the music teacher the movement. Suppose we are learning a guitar, the movement of our hands, and we also surrender a part of our mind that is dealing with music. And by doing that, it means we will be following what the music teacher is telling us, but that only engages a part of my mind and part of my body. Suppose I also want to learn martial arts. I will also take a teacher. I will give a lot of respect to that teacher, and I will surrender to that teacher also. Body means I will do the movement according to what the teacher says, and part of the mind also, because that part that is controlling the body. And sometimes there will be some exercise of concentration, so I will also do that. I will surrender that also. But now we are coming to the spiritual world, and there is a spiritual teacher. So we want to learn spirituality. To learn spirituality, we have to go beyond the mind. So now it means that I will not only have to trust a part of my mind and a part of my body, but I will have to trust maybe my whole mind, my whole known existence, and I to follow those instructions. So now it is much more difficult and sometimes fearful. So it is normal that in that field one will have lots of difficulties to take the guru. But the guru, how does the guru come? How do we find the guru? Okay. Now comes a point of philosophy here, finding the guru, because we need to find the right teacher, not all the side things that may deviate us from the path. The philosophical point here in Sanskrit, muktya kankshaya sadguru prapti. Now let's translate that. When there is a very intense desire for liberation, mukti, one attains one's sadguru, or perfect master. So what is guiding us here is our desire. If our desire is very sincere, very pure, we'll attract the right teacher. Like if my desire is not very pure and not very sincere, I may attract a wrong teacher. So everything is depending on the intensity and the purity of my desire that I will find the right guru. So now, we may come across various teachers, but keeping that very intense desire in our mind, it will guide us so that we'll end up in the right teacher. But you see, this spirituality is not that easy. It's not something that one gets it just like that. It needs effort. In fact, everything in life needs effort. There are people who want everything immediately, and that immediately doesn't happen. Let's say we want to develop spiritually. Now, there is physical, there is mental, and there is spiritual. All these are interrelated. In fact, it's a continuum. When the physical becomes very subtle, it gets transformed into mental. And when the mental is very subtle, it gets transformed into spiritual. So it's like a continuum. We cannot really make a barrier that is things that are completely separate. So to pass from physical to mental to spiritual, we have to develop the physical, develop the mental, and develop the spiritual. So there will be practices that will change our body, will make our body more subtle, will make our body more ready for the mental development. You see, there are different body structures in this planet. An animal body structure is not so developed, cannot hold such a very developed mind, but a human body can. Now, there are different human bodies. Some human bodies are more subtle, some are more kind of hard and dense. We need to make our body subtle. And how do you build the body? You build it with the food you eat, with the actions that you do, with everything that you touch and that you enter in contact with your physical sensory organs. So now we are working on the body. Then we also have to make the mind subtle so that it will go towards spiritual. And according to our goal, means our desire, if we want, there are people who start so-called spiritual practices because they want to be more successful, they want to be more efficient. If that is the goal, if that is the desire, then one will go to the teacher who teaches that. And maybe that teacher wants to be famous and wants to have more, and maybe that's what it will take from and give that individual. So our desire has to be really, really sincere. I want the truth. I want the self-realization. It's not that I want this or that, to be like this, to be like that, to have powers, to be able to fly, to be very like this, to be famous. Everybody will say, oh, such a great person and all this. If that's what we are looking for, we will go in that direction. But with a very sincere desire, we'll go in the right direction. And if we come across someone as a teacher and we exhaust the knowledge of that teacher, means we did everything, we learned everything, there is nothing more the teacher can teach us. Maybe that moment we should keep our desire to find the right teacher. But as long as we are learning and we haven't exhausted all that teacher can give us, then we should just go on absorbing and absorbing and absorbing. The importance of the guru or the teacher, here there is a kind of an allegory. The disciple's heart is a field. Sadhana, it means meditation or spiritual practice, that effort, that spiritual practice, is plowing, irrigating, preparing the field. And the initiation from the guru is the sowing of seeds. So now the guru gave the initiation. It means it threw the seeds, and the disciple got the seeds. It doesn't end there. That's actually the beginning. Now we need to do all the caring for those seeds. And what is the caring for those seeds? It is that every knowledge we get, we try to perfect it, to make it perfect, more and more. That effort, persevere, regularity. The mental body has to be developed. The physical body has to be developed. Suppose I want to be strong, be physically fit. I have to exercise myself. How much I have to exercise? Daily or very regularly within a certain cycle. There is an optimal cycle. I exercise myself. And I cannot exercise too much, but I also should not exercise too little. So I have to find the proper rhythm. Usually the coach or the trainer will tell, okay, you practice this much every day, this much every 2 days, this much, and that will develop. And how many types of exercise we practice if we want to develop the body. We may practice some exercise for the upper body, some for the lower body, for the neck, for this part of the body. So many exercises to develop the body. The body is very complex. Now take the mind. The mind is even more complex than the body. So can we just think that, oh, the spiritual practice is just this? For example, if we take the Vedic initiation and they say, okay, this is the mantra, Gayatri mantra, you sing it, and that's it. Can it possibly be that? Only one thing you are doing, and that will develop everything. There, in the mental world also, there will be various exercises, some less complex in the beginning, more complex in the end, just like exercises for developing the body. In the beginning, you start with simple, and then it goes on developing. If you are taking weights, the weight is increasing. Now, the same thing is happening in the mental world. So now, if we start the tantric practice to develop the mind, we will be facing obstacles. There will be one obstacle and another obstacle and another obstacle. Why these obstacles come? The obstacles come from within us because we have created them in the past by doing many different actions. Now, so they are reactions coming, and they show themselves in front of us as various obstacles. We should accept these obstacles because they are beneficial to us. Obstacles are always beneficial. Imagine if I want to be strong, okay, so I will do this exercise, all right? I go to the gym, I do the exercise where I will be flexing my arms in order to make the muscles in the arm strong. How do I make that exercise more effective? I use a weight. I get a weight in my hand, I hold the weight, and I move the weight. By moving the weight, what I'm doing actually, creating an obstacle. By creating that obstacle, I am developing better, quicker my muscles. So if we don't have any obstacle, that muscle will take forever to develop, if it develops at all. But with the obstacle, it will develop quicker. But in the process, after practicing, I may get a little bit pain. It will become a little bit sore. So there will be a little bit suffering, but that suffering is what is making progress. And the same happens in the mind. I'm facing a certain obstacle, and I have to struggle with that obstacle. There are people who, when they start facing the obstacle, they start thinking, oh, I cannot meditate. I'm always thinking about that. So this meditation is not helping me. Why should I do this? But that is showing that it's really working. It's like you go to the gym and you do all your exercise and you come out, you are not even tired. You don't have any pain. How much is that workout helping? But you went to the gym and you sweat and you put a lot of effort. You come out with some pain, some sweat. Then you feel, yes, that it's working. Now, it's the same thing in the mental world. In the mental world also, it's a different kind of pain, a different kind of sweat, but that's what's happening. So it's very important that we keep the rhythm. We may be facing all these obstacles, but now we keep our rhythm of our practices. And which practices are those? Those that we got from the teacher, the seeds that we got. We have to cultivate them, keep putting water, putting fertilizer so that it will grow and it will not just die. So that is the importance of the Guru. So the Guru is giving us the seed. It's giving us what we need to practice to reach the goal. What to practice? When we learn, we put into practice. We learn more, we put into practice. As we practice, we open the way to learn more. Many people are in a hurry. Teach me this, teach me that, teach me this, teach me that. But the main thing is, whatever we learn, we sincerely apply it. And we will feel that we are ready for the next step. When we are ready for the next step, then we take the next step. Just think that desire to reach the goal has to be constant driving us. So the path of Tantra really starts the moment we get that initiation from the teacher. And if I put in Sanskrit terms, we will get Diksha from the Guru. So the word in Sanskrit is Diksha. Now, what it means? Diksha means we learn the proper way to progress in the physical, psychic, and spiritual spheres. All spheres are involved here. If the body is not ready, it cannot hold a developed mind. If the mind is not ready, it cannot hold the idea of real spirituality. So this Diksha is a process. Is a process. In Tantra, mantra is very important. So mantra, what is mantra? Mantra is a word which has a meaning, It also has a vibration. So it has certain elements there. These elements are very special. The elements of the mantra are very special. And that process of diksha or initiation, it gives us the capacity to realize the inner meaning of the mantra. So the mantra will have a meaning, and when we get that mantra, we also get in the capacity to realize its meaning. The other thing that the mantra does is it makes quicker, it expedites all this burden that we are carrying in the form of reactions that have not yet expressed itself. So all these reactions are in our mind. And you know, when we make an action, the mind distorts a little bit. And when it comes back to balance, it is like that distortion goes away, that reaction is eliminated. So as long as there are all these reactions, our mind has a certain shape. Let's compare the mind to a container. So I have a container here, and the container has a strange shape. When I put some liquid inside that container, the liquid takes the shape of the container. Now, let's think about the mind. If my mind is in a certain way, it will contain certain kinds of thoughts. As I'm changing the form of my mind by eliminating these reactions, like take one reaction, another reaction, they all go on your way, the mind is coming back to a more balanced, to a more perfect form. By coming back to this more perfect form, the thoughts inside my mind also changing. In an active process, if I'm meditating, I'm imposing or infusing a certain thought in my mind. It is like the liquid inside that container is forcefully taking a shape. What happens? When it's forcefully taking a shape, it is changing the shape of the container. Let's think here that this liquid is so strong that it can take its own shape and change the shape of the container. By doing that, by changing the shape of the container, it is eliminating those distortions. What are those distortions? The reactions in potential form, which in Sanskrit we call samskara. So now this samskara is being eliminated. When a samskara is eliminated, we feel it, because now mind is changing shape because that samskara is being eliminated. We feel it. There is a question here. When we are striving for self-realization and making effort, does our samskara create difficulties for us? So what do you think? The samskara here is giving a form, shape to the mind. Now, when I'm meditating, I'm repeating the mantra. The mantra has a certain idea. It is like the liquid inside that container. I'm changing by force of concentration its shape. Then it is forcing that samskara to come out, that distortion to come out. When that distortion comes out, it's like something happened in my life. It may be something happened. Oh, it's so difficult. Well, one rule here is that our capacity will always be greater. We'll always be able to overcome those obstacles. Let me move a little bit here. So Diksha, D is the first part. In D is like you illuminate the path. So it puts some light. This is the way to move. So now the process, the mantra, is telling your mind how to move, how to think. Mental movement is thought. So mind is moving where? Mantra is giving the direction. The ideation is giving the direction. In this Deepa Gyan, the knowledge of the light, the knowledge that takes a human being from darkness. Darkness is close to more animal instincts, animal style life, towards the effulgence, so like of divine. So we are human beings. We are kind of in the middle. One side there is divine, another side there is animal. Our thing is in both sides, and now we are moving towards the divine. And the second part of Diksha is the Ksha part. The Ksha comes from Kshayam, which means elimination, waning. Of what? Samskaras. Samskaras, Papa. Papa, Kshayam. It's eliminating the samskaras. So it's showing you how to move, and when you start moving, it's also eliminating these samskaras. So that is Diksha. It has both points. Now, we may feel a little bit uncomfortable, mentally uncomfortable. What is this? What's happening to me? But that is there. That is because there is some change. There is change in our mind, and that change is very deep. You know, when I learn some subject in the world, so I study, I take a course, I learn a new language, there is a little bit change in my mind, in certain aspects of the mind. But when I'm working so deep with the spiritual things, the change is very deep in the mind. And because the change is very deep in the mind, I feel a little bit fear. What's happening to me? That is normal. Now, if we have difficulties, then it needs a constant contact with our teacher. Now, the guru, sometimes guru is not always using a physical body. Many times guru is using a media. The media could be another human being. Like I told in the beginning, I'm an acharya. I represent a guru. So I'm like a media of my guru. So he teaches, he uses me to teach, but really who is teaching is he is teaching. And he's teaching also directly to different individuals, not only through external media, also through internal media. So this Diksha has these two parts, Deepa Gyan, the light on the path, and Kshayam, clear all these samskaras. And now we are practicing Tantra. What is Tantra? Tantra is expansion. Tan, expand. Tra, liberate. So how it happens? By expanding, you liberate. I will give an example. Let's give a material example because maybe it makes us more, it's easier to understand. Suppose I have many impurities in my mind. It means I did an action, now the reaction is there. Let's compare it to the financial world. Means I spend, now I have a debt. So I have so many debts, more and more debt. So I'm very worried how I will pay this debt. So even one debt is coming, I'm so stressed about it. And then another one is coming, I'm so stressed about it. So I can start, okay, now I start some process. So I work hard, pay one, and then concentrate on paying the other one. Then I concentrate on paying the other one. But that's a very slow process. suppose I don't concentrate on paying debt, but I concentrating on, let's say, making money. So I make money, make more money. What happens with the debts? I'm not even thinking about them. They are just getting paid. So that is the tantric way. You are concentrating on the goal. The goal is very expanded, it's infinite. And you are moving towards that goal. So mind is expanding, expanding. So all these barriers are just falling apart. So that's why it is said that tantric is the fastest way, because you are thinking on this expansion and things are just, all the chains are breaking. So that's tantra. Another meaning of the tantra, also the word, is that ta is the acoustic root of inertia or staticity, and it's in our third chakra. There is this acoustic root, ta. And how does it work? Means I want to do something, but there is a static force, doesn't allow me to do it. I want to ask a question, I don't ask. Time passes, I miss that opportunity. Why? I hesitated. There was some inertia. So to liberate from that inertia is also Tantra. It liberates from the inertia in the spiritual world, in the mental world, in the physical world. So these are two meanings of the word Tantra. Okay, time passes very quickly and we reached here summary. I talked about how we start spiritual life. We start from the beginning. What is the beginning? Initiation. How do we call initiation in Sanskrit? Diksha. So now we want to move. We are asking, I want to move, I want to move. Now there is some light on the path. Look, this is the path. Move. And then you want to move and there are all these obstacles. Okay, here's how you get rid of them. So you are getting rid of the obstacle and you are moving. That is through the process of Diksha. And you want to learn something. Okay, you need a teacher. You need the best teacher. So now you need the guru. Oh, but guru, everybody's so paranoid about this word. But it's okay, let's say in English, you need the teacher. Now, how you find the teacher? According to you, according to what you want. Like if I want a music teacher, I will find a music teacher. If I want a martial artist teacher, I will find a martial arts teacher. If I want a teacher that teaches me how to be famous, how to have a lot of money, I will find that teacher. But if I really want a spiritual teacher, then I will also find that. And it comes according to my desire. And the importance of guru, the guru gives us the seeds, but we have to work hard. It's not just, oh, now we got a guru, oh, everything is done. No, now hard work starts. And we shouldn't be afraid of the hard work. We should understand that these obstacles and these things we have to overcome, they will come anyway in my life. But now I have some process that makes me stronger, so I can even face them quicker. And that was what I wanted to introduce in this first chapter of our series. And I will be touching these points a little bit more in other webinars. Now, if you want to have any, to make some questions, to ask questions, you are welcome to type them in that is written there, questions. So you just type the question, I can read it here and I can answer them. And even if you don't have a question now, but it comes in your mind later, you can send to me by email and I will sometimes I add it to the next presentation. I modify the next presentation so that it can answer those questions. Thank you for taking the time and attending this series. And if suppose there are some things that you are particularly interested, I can include them also next time. So your suggestions are also welcome. Okay. Namaskar and good night.